Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am going to be hopefully guiding you through restoring the Roman Empire. Now, one thing before we start, I am using the JLM's Vanilla Kingdoms mod. I will have the link in the description. And I do believe the mod is just a blanket improvement upon the base game. Though even if you are just playing the base game, most of this guide should still apply. All the mod does is increase the number of settlements and add about 2 to 3 new units for each faction, but we shall be seeing those as we go. Now, so here we are in the campaign now, ladies and gentlemen, and as you can see, first of all, you are a very big empire, or quite a large spanning empire at least, and
I will only
do
address
not
you in
mind this
battle.
massive crusader army. This is just here to simulate the fourth crusade. They will be attacking us in the next turn, and you can defeat them with just this army if you're playing this mode. But if you're not sure, you can always just use him to buy a mercenary boat and then get some of these units over here. But do remember not to get all the units over here, because either by the end turn or in the next turn the Turks will be attacking you. So if they do not attack you in the first turn, be sure to get those units back here in Nicaea, because you really cannot lose this city. This is your second biggest city, and losing this can be game ending. So after that, there are two things you need to remember in a Byzantine campaign, and that is that first of all, you have a lot of enemies. Now if I turn the fog of war off, as you can see, these are the Turks. They will be your primary enemies. Now the biggest strength they have is their horse archers, which do outclass yours. But one way you can get past that is by using the terrain of Anatolia, which, as you can see, is quite mountainous, which allows you to have a lot of mountain passes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I suggest you to put the sixth one around here. So if you just put 6 forts here, then you can completely block off the Turks, because now you have taken their biggest advantage of open field horse archers away from them. And your own archers, the Trebizond archers, are quite good. We'll get to them a bit later. Now, on the European side of your border, you have the Hungarians over here, and you have a buffer of some rebel towns. Now, do not waste for the Hungarians to take this before starting your diplomacy. I find that a lot of the times they will just straight up attack you, so you should be the initiator in this. And you can get them friendly and focus on the Turks, that's what I recommend. Or you can block this off and try to go up here, for Belgrade, Sofia, Wallachia, Varna, and Isaiah, because all of at least these two are port settlements. This is a castle. Once you get this, you can turn Adrianople into the city. What that will do is also turn Corinth into a city, and then you will just have these cities in the Adriatic Sea which will be making you tons upon tons of trade income, and you will be needing all that income because you will have to constantly fight on both sides and garrison all the cities you have. Now, what I suggest you doing is, if you are gonna start and you are playing on the vanilla, use him, buy some mercenaries, siege down Sofia. Do not attack it, siege it down, and then go for Druster. Make Be on friendly terms with the Venetians for now, as they are a bit too strong for you, especially when these two are breathing down your neck. So yeah, just be friendly with them, trade with them. Once you gotten these settlements at least, then you can attack them. And then take a Ragusa and Zagreb from them, because Zagreb has gold, and gold is very good. One thing you can do here is capture this city, build a gold mine, then park a unit here of peasants or anything you want, and then just put 10 merchants in it, so that no other AI merchant can, seize their assets. That is a very good way to make, a pretty penny from Zagreb. It's a good region. Belgrade is good. I prefer to make these two a castle. I mean, keep them as castles and turn these two into cities. And then later on, you can take Bran, keep that as a castle, and then you have a pretty good, wall for anyone coming from this side, the Holy Roman Empire, the Hungarians. In the Poles, I find them to be quite a bit more friendly, but if they are not, you can just always ally with the Russians and just destroy them in a pincer attack. And the Russians are quite expansionist in the mod, and I think in the base game as well. So they will take an alliance from you, and I find them to be pretty good allies, at least in the early game. But here are some general tips as well, if you'd like. Proactivity is the number one thing. If you try to be defensive, you will be crushed. So do not be defensive at all. Then the second thing you want to do is at least make forts on one side so that you can concentrate more of your forces on another side and then just take as much as you want, because you need to reclaim the Roman heartland of Anatolia, because otherwise you cannot survive. That was true for the Romans in history, and that is true even here. Once you have taken this and also Crete and then all of the Levant, then you can fight the Egyptians. If you have done all of this by say turn 50, I'd say you're making pretty good time. Once you have Egypt, then it's pretty much you're strong enough to face down the Mongols. Use the same tactic. Get like these regions as your main wall. Make it as into a castle, and then make these three regions as well castles and buffer states. I mean, not buffer states, but keep them as castles, and just build a lot of fortresses here in the Caucasus passes. And hopefully, if you have good luck, the Mongols will just spawn here, and just seeing all your force, they'll be like, man, fuck that, and then just go fuck off to kill the Russians or something, making the Golden Horde and saving you. Hopefully. After that, by the time you go for the Levant, you can also go for the Venetians. I would suggest you to take all the way up to Venice and then just make a fortress there, make a fortress here, and then just if anyone breaks through that, then you can park an army right outside Venice. You want to park it not in the city but outside it so that you get a bridge battle, and then you can easily win that battle and just hold Venice indefinitely. I've done it against 2 armies, 3 armies, and it's not even that hard. Bridge battles, okay, let's go. Oh yeah, so that should be all for the campaign side of things. Another thing you have to keep in mind, I guess, is that you do need a good navy, because rebels will be spawning, you know. Egypt a lot of the times uses its navy to blockade quite a many of my ports. That has happened with me. And since so much of your income comes from trade, like right now it's not that much, but that is because, as you can see, in Adrianople, Thessalonica, Athens, Corinth, none of these places have ports. See, so the trade income is deceptively low here. Anyways, if you do not want to expand that much, then I would recommend you to take Galicia, Harpur, and Trebizond, and that makes a very good defensive line to Asia. And then you can just focus all of your effort in taking back all of Hungary. I like to go that way. And then take Vienna, not pushing any farther into Prague, even though they are good settlements, but making the Roman Empire and LARPing is way more fun. Do not take Nuremberg, take Innsbruck, just don't take anything north of the Danube. It's quite a fun little roleplay you can have, and I do believe that roleplaying this game is the best way to do it. So yeah, do that. Do not go for the rebel settlements at the start. You will get them anyways, but you have bigger fish to fry at the start. So yeah. The good thing is that your army is halfway decent. It has some very good things, and some very bad things. But we shall be getting to that right now. Let's take a look at their armies now. So this here is the entire Byzantine roster. As you can see, it is bigger than the vanilla one, but not that much bigger. And that's why the Byzantines kind of have a small roster, so it's all about how you use it. Because it's not like France where you are being spoiled with the amount of units you have. The other thing is you won't have something like this, the handgunners, because Byzantines do not get late game technology at all. So you will be falling off quite hard in the late game. But now let's start from the beginning. First of all, we have the peasants, as you would expect. These guys are trash, absolutely do not use them. Even though they have 4 attack, they're not really worth it. I would suggest you to get at least 2 units of them if you want, and you can just have them charge a bit in front of your front line so that the archers fire at them and your front line can make it to the enemy front line mostly intact. But that's the only way I think they should be used. Do not use them for garrisoning. Unlike Rome Total War, they provide less garrison. After that, we have the town militia. Now, these guys will be your front line in the really early game, but I would suggest you to move on into spear militia when you can. As you can see, all the spear militia have is one more defense and one more charge, but I just find that they just hold a lot better than the town militia. After that, we have the Pronoi infantry. Now, these guys are kinda ass if you look at their stats, but they're deceptive because they use a mace, so that gives them good armor piercing attack. And how I like to use at least the Byzantine army in the early game is to have spear militia as my front line and Pronoi on my flanks, about 2 to 4 units of them. And then you just charge them at the back of whatever is the most heavily armored unit the opponent has, and yeah, they should not disappoint you. After that, we have the Contratoi. These are your best spears, and these will be your front line for the majority of the game. And they have the stats to do that. They have 6 attack, 10 defense, and 3 charge. Also, they can form Skiltron. So one thing I would like to suggest to you is, if you're playing this mod, is to have these guys, or 8 to 10 of these guys, form Skiltrons. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, with handgunners on the back, and they can just shoot the units as they just wrap all around the skilltron, easily getting you tens if not hundreds of kills. Every volley is pretty fun. After that, we have your Sputato swordsmen. These guys are not as good as the stats make them out to be. Like, I don't know what it is, but I find them better as holding infantry, because as you can see, they have 13 defense but only 2 charge. But even there, they are kind of underwhelming, at least from my gameplay. One thing I will say though is these guys are really good on walls. So yeah, just chuck them on walls or have them as reserve. And that's the two uses I have for them. Or you can use them with the Pro 9 infantry, having them charge into the enemy and having them circle and rear charge them. After that, we have your Akir, Akiritai, Akirtai, I don't know, man. But your whatever swordsman, Akirtai swordsman. These guys are your equivalent to feudal knights. As you can see, they have 8 attack but 15 defense and 1 more charge. They're really good. They're a massive step up from these, honestly. And you will see that as you play the game. After that, we have the Laticon infantry, Western Europeans who are fighting for the Byzantines. And they do a pretty good job. The only problem with them is they come so late in the game that a lot of the times all the other factions have handguns, so that really sucks for them. But apart from them, they are really good infantry. Like, really good. And yeah, that's all I have to say for them. They are good infantry, buy them and you will have your money's worth. After that, we have the Varangian guards. This time they weren't really Norsemen, but mostly Anglo-Saxons, which I guess still is good enough because they were Huscarls. these guys only suffer from one issue, which is that they use a two-handed axe, and all two-handed weapons in Medieval 2 are a little bit bugged, making them not as good as one-handed weapons. But even with that fact, these guys are going to shred most things that come their way. You can frontal charge units with them, rear charge, they'll, they'll do good, they'll make you proud. After that, we have the archers. And as you can see, it's not a very big selection. At first, as you would expect, we have the peasant archers, use them on the walls and in the very early game. After that, just don't use them. Then we have the archer militia. Use them if you want, but I generally like to switch from peasant archers straight away to trebizond archers. And trebizond archers are really good. They have long range missiles, they have bonus in woods, they also have missile attack of 5, which is 3 more than the peasant archers. And their melee stats are okay for a missile unit, but it's not good enough to throw them in melee or really hold out much if they are caught out of position. So be careful with them. After that, we have the Byzantine Guard archers. Now these are really good archers. They have 2 more attack than the Trebizond archers in the missile category and 3 more in the melee category. But the issue with these guys is that you just get them after such a long time that everyone has muskets or arquebuses, and they might be good in trading for the first few seconds, but they are gonna get shredded if they are focused down. But if you are able to protect them from that, these are really good missile units and infantry. They are like the Ottoman infantry, just better. But you get them very late. After that, we have all your cavalry, and this is where the Byzantines shine. At first, we have your militia cav, use them for running down units and for archers. Do not put them in fight against the general's bodyguard or something, they will get shredded. After that, we have the cavalry lancers. These guys are pretty good. These are basically your feudal knights equivalent until you get the Laticon. Now, these guys are really good. These guys are better than your general, and they will shred most things. Especially if you rear charge, they will shred anything on. And they just look so cool, I absolutely love them. Then we have a general's bodyguards. I do find the Byzantine bodyguard to be the weakest out of the 3 major, regions. I think I would put personally the European bodyguards at first, the Muslim bodyguards at second, and then the Byzantine ones. Just something from my gameplay. So yeah. But still, they are a bodyguard unit, and in the early game they will be quite good. But after the mid game, I don't think you should use them in battle. You should just use them for, running down troops after the battle has been won. After that, you have the Cataphractoi. Pretty good units, pretty heavily armored. They have excellent morale and a powerful charge, and also good stamina, which is very good because they have a lot of armor. So they would get tired pretty easily if they do not have good stamina. But really though, use them with your Laticon, and man, it just looks so cool when both of those units charge together. You just slow down the game and just look at it. It's pretty fun, man. LARPing as the Eastern Romans is the most fun way to play them, and I really recommend it. After that, we have a Arcnocto. Okay, I'm not even gonna try it, but just a better version of these guys. I think these are the cavalry units that were around during Basil II's reign. Yeah, I think there were around 2000 of them in number in real life. I might be wrong, but I do think. I don't know, tell me in the comments if you know. But anyways, that's all your missile cav. And after that, you have probably my favorite, the Byzantine archer cavalry. We start with the Scythians. Now these guys are really good. You can use them all the way up to the late game. They are really fast, and they shoot quite fast, and they can run quite fast. Oh wait, I just said the same thing twice. But what I meant by the last thing is that you can just put them on skirmish mode and make the enemy general attack you, and then they will just keep on running and damaging you. As long as you don't get them caught at the edge of the map, you will be fine. After that, we have the cavalry archers. These are a better version of these guys, but because they have better armor, they are also slower. But they do have a bit better melee stats, still not good enough to chuck them in a frontal assault in anything. But for back charges, they can work. Back shots. After that, we have the Vardrotoi, the best cavalry unit, in my opinion, that the Byzantines have. These guys will shred anything. They run fast, they have very good stamina, so they can run for a very long while. These are the only people I use the circle ability with because it just looks so cool and they don't get tired after 5 seconds. Sorry. But also, they have really, really good melee stats. They are really just melee cavalry that can also shoot on the side. The only bad part about them is their pitiful charge, but their attack and defense more than makes up for it. After that, we have your artillery selection. And as you can see, the Byzantines only get bombard. They do not get the grand bombard unless you get it as a mercenary. But first of all, we have the ballista. I really like these guys because they are very, very accurate. They can take down the towers on the enemy walls, and I like to take out the towers before sending all my siege ladders up. So yeah, they're pretty fun. And also on the campaign map, they can force the enemy to attack you, which is also another very good thing because the Byzantine army does better on defense than it does on attack. After that, we have the catapults. Now, the catapults, I don't like them as much because I find them to be a lot more inaccurate. I like to keep the ballista and then straight up jump to the trebuchet. Now, the trebuchet is really, really good and it does 90 damage to every building compared to 10 of the ballista. So, yeah, this is a completely wall focused thing, and it will do that job well. After that, we have the mangonels. These things are kinda ass. I don't use them. Bombards are good because they do the most damage against buildings out of any unit that you have. Use them. I generally like to have two in each army, and that's more than enough. Also, do remember that any artillery piece will slow you down massively on the campaign map, so keep that in mind. But by the time artillery comes into play, I do have already an established navy. And that's the other big thing with the Byzantines. Navy is your biggest strength because most of your settlements and heartland are by the coast. You can just easily use your navy and travel very fast. And you will need that because you will be putting out a lot of fires. After that, we have some mercenary units. First of all, we have these guys, basically the pikemen for the Byzantines. I do believe that CA should have given the the Contractor, the ability to form a pike wall because I think in real life they just had like shorter pikes. After that, we have the alumni, the thing that your wife asks for. Uh, uh, anyway, okay, I'm not being political. I'm sorry, man, I'm so fucking drunk right now. But anyways, these guys are not as good as their stats make them appear. They're 200 infantry, so they do quite as in melee. Especially if you're fighting feudal knights, they kinda do not do very well against feudal knights because their attack is also not armor piercing. But if you charge them into the backs of units, it is still pretty good. And the Zweihander is a pretty cool weapon, and just seeing them use it, I do think it is eye candy, at least for the first couple times you do. After that, we have one of my favorite units, the Greek fire throwers. Now these guys are the force multiplier that you will have. Get them as mercenaries whenever you can. Their missile attacks looks like 10, but really it's a one-hit kill to anything it touches, so it doesn't even matter. Also, the good thing about them is that they're basically the Greek fire. It keeps on ruling, so it can hit 2, sometimes 4, and one time I even hit 10 units with it, but that was pure luck. And that's the best part about them. They can shred any unit. The issue is they're so low in number that if they get caught out, you might just lose the unit forever. So yeah, you got to be really careful with these guys. Never throw them in melee. But man, use them and they will serve you well. Especially in taking down generals' bodyguards. Just use town militia to get the general's bodyguard locked in and just get these guys to just burn him into kebab. It's pretty fun. So after that we have the Alani Light Cavalry. These guys are really good. Probably one of my favorite mercenaries for the Byzantines because they are so fast and they have such a good defense that they can easily just run down any general's unit and just keep it occupied for long enough that you can either shoot it down because you need some mercenary you don't really care about it, or you can just have two extra, your cavalry lancers or later on your laticon to just. So that was all, folks. I hope you liked the video. If you enjoyed the guide, you can like and subscribe. It would really make me happy as this is my first video. Also, tell me which faction guide would you like me to see next and which empire would you just like to make. I will make sure to make you a carefully curated guide to just start because I have an addiction to Total War Medieval 2, man. The game is just so good. Honestly, good pike and shot is enough reason to want Medieval 3. I'm still holding out for Medieval 3. Hopefully, we get this by the next year. Anyways, that was all, folks. Take care now. Gracias, Tibiago, amici. Cambene valete.